Hello, I'm Kerwin Olson, the Interim Executive Director here at the Citizens Action Coalition based in Indianapolis. We are a consumer and environmental advocacy organization that does most of our work at the Indiana State House advocating for consumers and also advocating for policy to protect the public health, the environment, and the natural resources of our state. We also do an enormous amount of work at the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, also on behalf of residential ratepayers with a special focus on low-income and vulnerable populations. We believe here at Citizens Action Coalition that it is a right to every Hoosier to have access to affordable home energy, that access to a refrigerator to keep food cool, access to warm water for showers, access to heat in the winter, and access to cooling in the summer is a right and an essential human service necessary for all citizens here in the state of Indiana to participate in society in any meaningful way. And we have what we believe is a flawed regulatory process here in our state. We are one of only 3 states in the entire country where our regulators that oversee utility companies are unaccountable to the public in any way, shape, or form. 47 other states, they either directly elect the regulators who oversee utility companies, or those regulators are confirmed by one or both chambers of that state's General Assembly. And as a result of what we believe is a flawed process here in the state of Indiana, we feel that the consumers, the residential ratepayers here in the state of Indiana, have no voice in the process. We have utility companies that dominate the Indiana State House through their lobbying activities, their lobbying spending, and we have a regulatory commission that is also dominated and unduly influenced by the power of the investor-owned utilities here in the state of Indiana. And what we have realized over the last 3 or 4 years is that the number of consumers, residential ratepayers being disconnected and denied service is reaching potentially an all-time high. The number of utility dollars that sits in arrearages today, people unable to pay their utility bills, appears to us to also be at an all-time high. We feel consumers have no voice, have nowhere to turn with respect to complaints, with respect to due process when it comes to collection procedures, disconnection procedures, reconnection procedures. We are faced with a rising number of complaint calls here at Citizens Action Coalition from people who have nowhere to turn, people who are asking to do the impossible when it comes to paying their utility bills for, again, what we believe is an essential human service and a right of all citizens in Indiana to access affordable home energy. We have experienced calls from folks who are realizing $2,000, $3,000, and $4,000 electric and gas utility bills to maintain service at their houses. These are folks that are on Social Security. These are folks that are on disability. These are low-income populations, households with children, households with senior citizens, retired veterans, and folks that are simply being asked to do the impossible, living on $800, $900 pensions on a monthly basis and being asked to pay what amounts to a $3,000, $4,000 utility bill, and they're being asked to do something they simply cannot do. The utility companies have unfettered access to our elected officials at the Indiana State House. The utility companies have unfettered access to our regulatory commissioners here in the state of Indiana. Yet the consumers, again, we believe, have no voice and have no say in the process and are virtually without rights. What we would like to see happen is the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission come to the city of Evansville and hold a public field hearing to allow the consumers of Vectren and other utility companies voice their concerns, voice their complaints, and voice the struggles that they are facing on a day-to-day basis in living their lives, and more specifically in paying the ever-increasing bills that they face as a result of utility service. In addition to holding a public field hearing down in Evansville, Indiana, we would also like the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission to open up an investigation to evaluate and investigate the policies, the practices, the procedures of Vectren and other investor-owned utility companies with respect to collection process, with respect to disconnections, reconnections, arrearages, meter readings, and other complaints of that consumer's file so that consumers can finally have a voice here in the state of Indiana, have somewhere to turn, and have some sort of due process to resolve their complaints that are centered around what, again, we believe is an essential human service, and that is every citizen's right here in the state of Indiana to have access to affordable home energy. Again, my name is Kerwin Olson. I'm with the Citizens Action Coalition of Indiana. We can be found on our website, which is www.citact.org, and our phone number here in Indianapolis is area code 317-205-3535, and I look forward to working with all of you in the future. Thanks so much.